Okay, welcome to an episode of It's Not What You Think. This is Rick.
And this is Darren.
And today we are exploring the years 950 to 1000. We finally hit the 1000 mark.
Very exciting.
And we're working our way through the development of Western music, starting with the dawn of man, believe it or not, if you were able to follow us, coming up through the year 1, going through the Greeks.
Yep.
Then after year 1, going through the Christian Fathers, where we explored chant as a sacred music. And now we're 950 to 1000. We're hitting the 1000 mark. And ironically, that year is pivotal.
Yeah.
You'd think it's fictitious that the 0 and the 1000 are significant marks. But actually, this one, Guido of Arezzo, made his splash. He wanted to develop a system of teaching music, and particularly teaching how to sing easy and how to adjust it to your own particular vocal style and vocal range.
Right.
And so what he did was he developed the early version of something that's called solfege, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Mm-hmm.
And we still use that today in order to teach singing and also to transpose melodies to your vocal style. And this guy did it. 1000.
Yeah, so a really consequential figure.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about somebody who really revolutionized music theory,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going back 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But he's not a household name.
No, I certainly didn't know about him until today.
Well, he's not necessarily a composer, because he only composed one piece to explain his new technique, or demonstrate his new technique. So it starts off with a do, and then in Latin I think it's a different syllable. But it starts off with a do, and then he moves na 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 re na 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 ha na 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 re, and you hear the do re mi's scale on up.
And it's interesting that he would use that to help teach singing, especially because chanting was the popularized version of music at this time.
Yeah, and they listened to it not just in the churches, but even outside.
Exactly.
Where the secular musicians pulled the chants and turned them into songs, as
Yeah.
we've been exploring that as well.
Yeah, so this is really pivotal, because now he's taking something that even the common people can use in more outside of the church, and generating music. And so we're probably going to see from this point on just an explosion of secular music.
Well, let's listen to what he got.
Alrighty.
Okay, that piece was called Ut quant laxis, and it's directly translated as "let them sing easily," which is appropriate for an instructional song in order to teach sight singing.
Yeah, and it's written, each of the successive lines is a different note of that, forgive me, what's the phrase?
Solfege.
Solfege. So it is really instructive in and of itself. And this particular piece kind of has the diversity of the vocals, which really I think helps to illuminate how this is used, and specifically in its instruction, so that you can easily transpose any song to fit your vocal stylings.
You know how the modern composers will take the Gregorian chants and rescore them,
right,
and make them more modern. I got a gentleman by the name of Orlando de Lasas, and he was alive in the 16th century, and he rescored this, and it really stands out, I think, and really makes what Guido's intention was that much more. So let's give it a whirl.
Okay.
So impressions?
Yeah, the way that the soloist really articulates and stands out, it really demonstrates what Guido was trying to do in terms of teaching people on how to sing the solfege, or what, I forget how.
Yeah, right, solfege. I think, just like you said, to complement what you're saying, he really made them shine. You know, you can really hear the do, re, mi, and it's not part of the melody. It's like, here's the note,
right?
Here's the note. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I think it demonstrates more perfectly what Guido was trying to do. So
yeah, exactly. So hats off to Orlando.
Yeah, yeah, he did a real good job.
He was not the only one, meaning Guido, to bring about a revolution in the musical notation and learning style. There's another gentleman we need to explore as well, who came about right around the same time. You know, it's one of those synchronicity moments where minds just start connecting with each other.
Yep. Newton and Leibniz.
Adhemar Shabban. Now, his name is not a household name either.
No.
I had to actually do some real digging to find out this guy. And he should be, like, you know, a chapter heading from every music history book.
Right.
You know, chapter 6, Adhemar Shabban. No, I had to really dig for this guy. But now you've heard of him, and let me tell you why he's an important guy to know. He was a French monk, a historian, and a musical composer, and he changed musical notation. Musical notation before him, up to this time, it was the lyrics or the hymn written in Latin,
right,
and then little dots and squiggles above the letters. And I'll show you the dots and squiggles so our audience knows exactly what I'm talking about. You can see here, I'm pointing to the, you can see here that it's incomprehensible.
Right.
I mean, we musicologists have studied it and have determined, those squiggles actually give hints on how to sing the Latin phrases. But then Adhemar came along and he showed us this. And now it's very logical when the little, I don't want to call them notes, well, because he's not necessarily meaning them to be notes, but I guess indications. When the indications go up the page, then he's indicating sing higher and higher.
Right, right.
And then when the indications go down, then he's indicating you sing lower and lower. And
right.
So he's giving you visual cues on how to sing these, and we still use this notation today.
Yeah, it's really the groundwork for the notation that we actually use, and while he probably doesn't have actual note values or what the actual note is, that is between whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and then according to whatever key it's in, what the actual note is, it's still a fairly comprehensible notation in terms of what the pitch is.
And not only does he develop this, but he composes. Unlike Guido d'Arezzo, not to steal his thunder, but he was more of a teacher, and he just developed a system and a training song. Well, Adhemar, he developed a new notation, and he's got a mass to boot. So let's listen to, we won't listen to the entire mass, of course, but the Kyrie is killer. So let's listen to that.
Alrighty.
What I noticed was there were some real long melismas and real flowing ones. And, you know, this is considered Gregorian chant, and, you know, we listened to Gregorian chant for 1,000 years. In the early 100s and 200s and 300s, well, actually, I take that back, because Gregorian chant started officially around the 600s. So 600s, 700s, and 800s.
We listened to Christian chanting.
Correct. And we recognized that Gregorian chant really had a fine range, a restricted range. Yet here there's more of a flow that breaks that range. And it occurred to me as a hypothesis, we don't really know, but what if we misinterpreted all of those previous signs on how to sing it as being really restricted, but now this guy says, no, I'm going to tell you exactly how to sing it. We're like, yeah, now we know how to sing it the way he wrote it, and everything before that we're doing wrong.
That's a pretty good hypothesis.
I don't know. I've never read that personally. That's just something I threw out there when listening to this, because it is so starkly different than what we've heard up until now, and this guy has the precision of a new notational system that we use today.
Yeah, and that's why I think your hypothesis actually holds some water, because here is somebody who's trained in music, trained in Gregorian chanting, who's come up with a way of notating the music and has survived, so that we can actually see, okay, this is how it is. So now perhaps we had rules from Pope Gregory when he established the Gregorian chanting system, but now we've got them musically notated.
Right.
And so I think your hypothesis might be correct.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Yeah, especially because the previous way that they were notating music is totally incomprehensible.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how they figured that out.
Right.
Like I said, the best guess is let's say the words out loud, and then let's embellish the melody, the natural melody.
Yeah.
And that's our best guess, but we may have been wrong. I don't know.
Plenty of room for interpretation when you're looking at something like that.
Yeah. Well, he's got a whole mass, and he's got a gradual that's really nice as well. So let's give that a listen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's remind everyone that there's two styles of singing. There's syllabic singing. Syllable is the noun. Syllabic is the adjective. So it means singing one note per syllable. I walked across the street with you.
That's perfect rendition.
Exactly. I think that's what they were singing. That's the translation in Latin.
Yeah.
And then there's melismatic singing. Melisma is the noun, and melismatic is the adjective. And that's when you put more than one note on a single syllable. So, and there was lots of melismas in this.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I really liked it.
Yeah, and I'd really be curious to see, especially how the notation is, because how do you translate that melismatic singing so that they know the exact time signature of each of the melismas? So I'd be really curious to know how Ademar was able to.
I see how he separates the word. So the D is here, and then he puts all this in here, and then the A is here. So deus, deus.
Oh, and I see the little like tilde looking thing.
Right, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
yeah, he
easy to
was
understand.
ingenious.
Yeah, and go figure that both he and Guido are doing this at the same time, where they basically revolutionized both music theory, music notation, and the ability to teach and learn music.
Right, and to transfer that from province to province, it must have caught on like wildfire. Now it's not just the monks who are singing.
Yeah,
everybody is singing.
And I wonder which came first. Do you think people learned how to read the Bible first, or learned how to read music first?
Read music. Probably.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Because reading words is tricky.
Yeah.
There's no like cue other than someone saying this is what it sounds like.
Right.
But now we have cues. Up means sing up, and down means sing down.
Isn't that interesting though? People would have learned to read music before they learned to read words.
Yeah. That is interesting. Well, that's all we have for today. We went through the years 950 to 1000, and we hit the golden mean. Literally, we struck gold, and we learned different ways on notating music, and we'll come across some real big explosions in the field of the development of Western music.
Yeah, a really, really consequential moment in the development of Western music. Let us know what you think in the comments.
So look forward to seeing us again next time.
Stay tuned.